locked into the vibe that sets the tone. It's K.L.P. Aftermath, First Take, where we break it down, spark the conversation, and get you warmed up before the main event drops with Kennedy Lucas. Fresh, unfiltered, and laying the groundwork. Stay tuned because the man himself, Kennedy Lucas, takes over next. This is the Aftermath. You heard it first.
Welcome to K.L.P. Aftermath First Take. Pete Parsons has announced his departure from Bungie after being CEO for nearly a decade. Parsons shared the news in a blog post, adding that Bungie's Chief Development Officer Justin Truman will step into his role. "This journey has been the honor of a lifetime," wrote Parsons. "I am deeply proud of the worlds we've built together. And most of all, I am privileged by the opportunity to work alongside the incredible minds at Bungie. When I was asked to lead Bungie in 2015, my goal was to grow us into a studio capable of creating and sustaining iconic, generation-spanning entertainment." Parsons detailed what Bungie has accomplished during his tenure, including the launch of Destiny 2, its exit from Activision in 2019, and Sony acquiring the studio for $3.6 billion in 2022. He initially joined Bungie in 2002 as an executive producer and studio manager, working on Halo 2 and Halo 3. Parsons took over Bungie in 2016 following the departure of former CEO Harold Ryan. Speaking of Truman, Parsons said he has full confidence that he is the right person to lead Bungie forward. "I have worked alongside Justin for many years," said Parsons. "His passion for our games, our team, and our players is unmatched. As a leader in engineering, production, and design, and most recently as the general manager for Destiny 2 and our chief development officer, he has been instrumental in bringing some of the most memorable moments in Bungie's history to life." In a statement from Truman, he reflected on what Bungie has gotten right and what it's gotten wrong. "When we're at our best, we create these worlds alongside you, our player community, and build something that matters," he wrote. "I've also been part of these efforts at Bungie when we've maybe not been at our best, when we've stumbled and realized through listening to our community that we had missed the mark." He continued, "I know I've personally learned a lot over the years, as have all of us here, from those conversations. I am committed to supporting and working alongside every member of the team here as we continue pouring our hearts and souls into these worlds. We are hard at work right now doing that, both with Marathon and Destiny. We're currently heads down, but we'll have more to show you in both of these worlds later this year." During Parsons' tenure as Bungie CEO, an IGN report detailed claims of sexism, racism, and systemic discrimination at the developer experienced by current and former employees. "I am not here to refute or to challenge the experiences being shared by people who have graced our studio with their time and talent," said Parsons. "Our actions, or in some cases, inactions, cause these people pain. I apologize personally and on behalf of everyone at Bungie who I know feel a deep sense of empathy and sadness reading through these accounts." Parsons also oversaw waves of layoffs, including the loss of 17% of Bungie's headcount last July. At the time, he cited Bungie's rapid expansion during an economic slowdown and a sharp downturn in the games industry as prevailing factors. "We were overly ambitious, our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running into the red," he said. This June, Bungie announced the delay of its upcoming title Marathon, which was initially due to launch on September 23, 2025. Following Sony's latest financials, the firm's chief financial officer, Lin Tao, confirmed that Sony expects Marathon to launch within this fiscal year. "Based on the progress, in the autumn timeframe, we believe we can communicate when we will be launching Marathon," said Tao during an earnings call. We believe this launch will happen. Prosody. Looking at Bungie overall, Sony said the developer is becoming less of an independent subsidiary and is instead merging more into PlayStation Studios. At the time of the acquisition, we were offering a very independent environment, Tao added. However, thereafter, we have gone through structural reform. This type of independence is getting lighter. Bungie is shifting into a role which is becoming more part of PlayStation Studios. In the long term, the direction is for Bungie to become part of PlayStation Studios. Next in gaming, folks, Battlefield 6 is still just under 2 months away, but data miners continue to uncover new details about the shooter's full release, with the latest leak giving fans a sneak peek at some upcoming skins. Why Call of Duty continues to cause controversy with its wild and unrealistic cosmetics, Battlefield 6 appears to be taking a much more grounded approach, as the latest batch of skins stay true to the game's themes and aesthetic. After a successful testing period consisting of 2 massive open beta weekends, DICE is now gearing up to implement some big changes to Battlefield 6 in time for the shooter's release on October 10th. The studio plans to address some of the game's biggest controversies from the beta period, including the iconic rush mode and the game's divisive movement mechanics. While not everyone seems to be happy about it, DICE has announced that it plans to drastically nerf the movement in Battlefield 6 in order to create a more balanced and traditional Battlefield experience. Battlefield 6 data miner leaks new skins. The new movement changes to Battlefield 6 appear to be in line with the game's grounded and realistic approach to warfare, which continues to be solidified via its cosmetic items too. In a new leak from data miner 1BF on Twitter, fans have been given a great look at some of the upcoming skin variants. The leaker claims that the skins are all a part of the game's NATO faction, although some of them are currently untextured, so they may not represent the final product. Some of the skins also appear to have given those who have pre-ordered the game's Phantom Edition a better look at the included skins. Cosmetic items and character skins have become a huge selling point for some first-person shooter fans, and it's largely down to Call of Duty's controversial stance on the matter. Although unrealistic skins and weapons in Call of Duty can be traced back to the days of Advanced Warfare, Ghosts, and Black Ops 2, the shooter's most recent entry, Black Ops 6, seems to have taken things to a whole other level. From the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to American Dad Stan Smith, fans are fed up with Call of Duty losing its identity, with publisher Activision also allowing all of these wacky skins and cosmetic items to carry forward to Black Ops 7. Fans appear to be ready to jump ship to Battlefield 6. The real test will come when both titles are officially released later this year, but the record-breaking Battlefield 6 open beta is a great indicator of what is to come. In its first few days, the Battlefield 6 open beta managed to rack up well over 521,000 concurrent players on Steam. For comparison, this blew Call of Duty's Steam peak concurrent player count of the water by more than 30,000, which it hit nearly 3 years ago.
Next, on K.L.P. Aftermath First Take miniseries. The twisted tale of Amanda Knox dramatizes the famous miscarriage of justice, which saw her convicted, then acquitted, of the murder of fellow student Meredith Kercher. Last year, 17 years after 21-year-old British student Meredith Kercher was murdered in Perugia, Italy, an 8-part TV dramatization about the case was announced. Kercher's sister, Stephanie, told The Guardian as filming got underway, "Our family has been through so much, and it is difficult to understand how this serves any purpose." With the series, The Twisted Tale of Amanda Knox, beginning on Hulu in the US and Disney Plus internationally today, many viewers will likely be wondering the same thing. The answer is that the series has been driven by Amanda Knox, Kercher's American flatmate, who, along with Knox's boyfriend at the time, Raffaele Sollecito, and local drifter Rudy Gade, was initially convicted of the 2007 murder of Kercher. After Knox spent almost 4 years in jail for a crime she maintained she was innocent of, she and Sollecito had their conviction quashed and were freed in 2011, but were convicted again in a retrial in 2014, before finally being acquitted by Italy's Supreme Court in 2015. Meanwhile, Gade served 13 years of a 16-year sentence and was released from prison in 2021. Knox experienced a terrible miscarriage of justice. The Supreme Court ruled the investigation had stunning flaws, while the European Court of Human Rights ordered Italy to pay her £18,400, $1,500 in 2019, finding faults with how the police originally interrogated her. She also suffered a trial by media. Alongside the lead Italian prosecutor on the case, Giuliano Magnini, they cast her as a sexual deviant, Foxy Knoxy, as the tabloids delighted in calling her, who, the prosecuting case initially argued, orchestrated the killing of Kircher with the two men as part of a satanic ritual-inspired orgy that went badly wrong. Ultimately, Knox and Sollecito were exonerated, in large part because DNA evidence linking them to the scene was also found to be flawed. The show's challenges and problems, Knox has since been very vocal about her experiences in Italy and the hate and ridicule she suffered globally since her wrongful conviction. Her first book, Waiting to Be Heard, a memoir, was released in 2013, and she followed it up in March this year with Free, My Search for Meaning. A 2016 Netflix documentary, Amanda Knox, further examined Knox's ordeal, featuring extensive interviews with her about her treatment. The twisted tale of Amanda Knox again highlights what she suffered. However, 2 memoirs, 1 documentary, and several podcasts, one called Hard Knocks, it's difficult to understand what it really hopes to achieve. Tonally, the drama, the work of showrunner K.J. Steinberg, a producer on the likes of This Is Us and Gossip Girl, is inconsistent. Knox, played committedly by Grace Van Patten, is presented in a jarringly light and jokey manner as a quirky student, larking around in hammy scenes with Kircher, and then making inappropriate, blackly humorous comments on unfolding events during the investigation and trial. At times, the story feels overly romanticized. It even tries to emulate the film Amélie, the film which Knox and Sollecito, Giuseppe De Domenico, said they watched on the night of Kircher's murder, with colorful vignettes and magical realism. See the scene in which a gang of teddy bears applauds Knox performing as a clown as a child. Indeed, Steinberg told the Seattle Times, "The homage to Amélie was a great way to have the audience be introduced to Amanda, the person, before she became defined in the public imagination as the warped version." Clichés abound too, from voices fading in and out during a scene of a witness being interrogated in a police interview room, to a clunkily metaphorical moment showing a bird trapped inside, unable to escape. Another grating element is the way the story is overlaid by the kind of irreverent millennial narration from Van Patten as Knox, which recalls other recent true crime dramatizations such as Inventing Anna or Apple Cider Vinegar. In trying to ape the style of these other lighter shows, it takes away from the severity of the actual case in hand. The wave of reclaiming narratives. However, after the gross injustice of being framed for a murder you didn't commit, it's understandable why Knox would want to put the story straight once more and reclaim her narrative. This is something which a host of pop culture documentaries, podcasts, and dramatizations have purportedly helped famous women to do over the past decade, casting a new light on 90s female celebrities and figures like Britney Spears, Pamela Anderson, Monica Lewinsky, and Tonya Harding, who were caught up in scandals that saw them demonized in a public forum. Even in the short tribute to Kircher at the end of the series, Knox is once again the main focus. Interestingly, Lewinsky is an executive producer on The Twisted Tale of Amanda Knox, alongside Knox herself, having co-produced Ryan Murphy's 2021 miniseries Impeachment, American Crime Story, which retold the story of her affair with the then U.S. President Bill Clinton from her perspective. Some of these projects, like the Lewinsky drama, have been done with the involvement of their subjects, and some, like Hulu's Pam and Tommy, about Pamela Anderson's sex tape scandal, have been done without. However, as Jessica Bennett asked in the New York Times of this whole subgenre of reclaiming the narrative productions, It is no secret that humans love consuming spectacle, and we doubly love a spectacle when it involves women and sex. But at what point does the fictional depiction of that spectacle and our viewing of it become just as bad as watching it in the first place? Knox has said that the series is intended to highlight that the real killer was gay, which is a valid point. Given that Gwade was given a fast-track trial and convicted for the murder out of the public eye without being subjected to the same intense media scrutiny as Knox. She recently told Newsweek, "No one cares about this guy who actually murdered my roommate." I think that is so indicative of what was going on at the time and has always been going on with this case, which is the idea that it wasn't ever even really about Meredith. The truth of what happened to her and the truth of the person who actually did it got completely lost for the sake of a scandalous story. However, the dramatization is misguided. This sad story has two victims, but by centering Knox's experiences, it sidelines and marginalizes Kircher's death, upsetting the delicate balance of a case where one victim never lived to tell her own story. The final two self-indulgent episodes highlight this. Much time is spent on overblown scenes, seeing Knox coming face-to-face with her prosecutor Mignini, Francesco Acquaroli, in a church in Italy, and confronting him about his dogged belief that she committed the crime. Surprisingly, this meetup really did take place in Perugia in 2022. In the series, melodramatically, Mignini ends up crying and saying to the heavens above, "God sees we both suffer." Even in the short tribute to Kircher at the end of the series, a home video-esque montage of a smiling Kircher, played by Rianne Barreto, laughing and mucking about in Italy, Knox is once again the main focus. She says in a voiceover, "It was fate that Meredith was home that night and I wasn't. I was the lucky one." Continuing, "I hate that I have to dig through a decade of my trauma just to reach memories of her. I never really had the chance to mourn her. I'm coming back. I'm mourning the both of us." It's arguable that the fact that Kircher's sister, speaking on behalf of the family, wanted nothing to do with this production should have led Knox, Lewinsky, and the others involved in the creation of the show to question the project and whether it came at the expense of the other wronged female victim. Speaking to the New York Times in 2022, Lewinsky said candidly that she would have preferred that the dramatization of her interactions with Clinton didn't exist at all. "I hope it's the last time," she said of the retelling of her story. However, as she explained in 2021 to the same newspaper, if a TV series was going to happen, and if it wasn't the Ryan Murphy series, it eventually would be somebody else. She wanted to be in the room, to have some small sense of control. "It's much better to be going through this as part of something," she said, than to be desperately trying to find out what's on the show. This agency, though, was not something that Kircher's family have had. Looking back on the events in Italy almost 2 decades ago, Knox recently told The Guardian that Meredith became the footnote of a story where I was the central figure. Unfortunately, Knox's series has fallen foul of the same problem.
You already know what it is. Live, raw, and unapologetic. Welcome to the K.L.P. Aftermath Podcast. Where the stories hit harder, the culture gets louder, and the aftermath, always legendary. It's more than a podcast, it's the takeover. Turn it up and lock in, because K.L.P. is in the building.
From Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from KLP Entertainment and KLP Studios. Go! It's KLP Aftermath with your host, KLP Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform.
Go.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, howdy. Boy, howdy. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting podcast here today. This is the K.L.P. Aftermath Podcast. Very, very thankful for Cole and Reese, of course. If you guys know, you know. K.L.P Entertainment, we're expanding. We're getting a lot of voices, a lot of auditions in, a lot of voices for our shows, and our shows have been very, very impactful. I got to tell y'all. So that is the new segment that we like to call K.L.P Aftermath First Take. It is like the kind of like the kickoff show that we've done before with K.L.P Aftermath before the actual main event. I always try to find ways to semi-grow the show, both shows, Broco Podcast ATL and K.L.P Aftermath. A lot of people ask me, and I say this to a lot of our audience, T. First of all, happy Friday. We'll get to we'll get to the day and everything in a second. But I like to grow the show out really, really big because, you know, we've have our quarterly meetings, and we have meetings about how the shows are going. And right now, I got to say, I'm very blessed to say that the shows are going really well right now. We've had our dips, and then we had our highs and lows. So I get very, very excited when it comes down to the meetings and seeing the statistical analytics, seeing the viewership, seeing the viewer counter, seeing how social media has been doing for us. And it's been doing really well. And I remember a few years back, I tried to do so many shows. Like we had 5 shows on the same network, and it got kind of overwhelming, and it kind of got a lot for producing individual shows at one go. So one thing that we are doing to our audience, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're combining what used to be the 5 shows, right? We're trying to compress them all into about 2 shows. So in reality, we have a total of 3 shows. We've got this show, K.L.P Aftermath Podcast. You've got the Bro Code Podcast ATL. And then you got the Johnny and David Show. Now, the Johnny and David Show, that is a K.L.P Entertainment production, but you're only going to see it on our ProMed Consulting's account. That is a medical podcast. So that show's a little bit different from us, but we produced that show with Johnny Carson and David Bennett. They are, first of all, they're amazing voices for the show. Oh, and also Reed Smith. Reed Smith is the new guy that's on the show too. So very, very excited for that. So if you guys want to hear some medical in podcasting, you guys can go to that show, the Johnny and David Show. But if you want to know about the sports realm, you got to go to the Broco Podcast, ATL. And then just your everything in between, this is this show. So again, compressing the shows down, and I'm very, very excited for that. So while we have those quarterly meetings and stuff, I do want to add more voices and to really fill our show. I find it that now people like a beefy podcast. I mean, when I first did K.L.P Aftermath, it was like 30 to 40 minutes. But my shows have been a little bit longer, and you guys have been enjoying the beefy style of the podcast, an hour and a half. I think Monday's Broco Podcast was an hour and 40 minutes, which a great show. And then what happened was with me and Evelyn. Guys, check out that episode. Yesterday. That was yesterday's episode. New episode of What Happened was with me and Evelyn Letitia. Let me tell you, that show is popping. Over 1,200 views or followers on Instagram. You guys make the thing possible. Our followership on that show has been growing, and just to see the dedication that me and Evelyn have on the show, and a lot of people chime in onto the little segments that we post on social media. So thank y'all so very much for that. That show is really, really amazing. I look forward to continuing on with the next season. I want to say maybe the next season. That show's not really categorized in seasons, but I'm very, very excited for that because September 14th, that's coming up. That's going to mark me and Evelyn's 1-year anniversary of starting the podcast. So stay tuned. We're probably going to do something special. We're probably going to do kind of like a special episode just to kind of celebrate the 1-year anniversary of What Had Happened Was podcast. It's crazy that it's been almost a year ago when we started the show, and now of years in with more equipment, a different studio, different background, more equipment, more lighting, more stories. It has been growing up really, really well. So I'm very, very happy about that. We got something. I think we're going to do something very special for that show. So just stay tuned for that episode for the 1-year anniversary. So now let's do our check-ins before we talk about the topics of conversation, because boy, howdy, on a Friday, we have some great conversations. Now, it's interesting. I'm glad I was able to snag in the podcast this morning, T. It is Friday morning. I've got my mushroom coffee in hand. Let me take a little sip. So I've been drinking mushroom coffee tea. And let me tell you, sorry that it's going to have to be on the desk here this morning. It's morning by the time we're filming, and we're probably going to have it uploaded in the early afternoon. It is morning time. So I'm getting not fresh out the bed, of course. Got out the bed, took a shower. I said, hey, I'm going to let my muscles show a little bit. You know, I'm just going to wear sleep. It's Friday, right? And then I jetted to the studio. Busy day today. We'll get to what we got planned for today. But I was saying I was drinking mushroom coffee, guys. Let me tell you something a little bit about mushroom coffee. I've been drinking this thing for a while. And I got to be honest with you. My dad put me on. Shout out to my pops. He put me on to mushroom coffee. Now, he orders his mushroom coffee from Amazon. He goes through this company called Rise. Look, when it comes down to food getting delivered from Amazon, I'm a little bit skeptical because you don't know what's going to happen to the food that's getting delivered via Amazon. I know Amazon got a market where they can deliver food and some people do it. And I mean, thank God that we're away from it. I'm glad that, well, hopefully it never comes back. But during the COVID years, a lot of people ordered food from Amazon. A lot of people ordered Pampers from Amazon. So I get skeptical now when it comes down to ordering food from Amazon. If I have to order food from Amazon, order food in general, guys, then it has to be something that, you know, I'm ordering food from DoorDash or Uber Eats. I'm just skeptical with Amazon and UPS and FedEx when you're ordering food. So he orders his coffee from Rise, and they're only an Amazon business for right now, or online business, I should say. I think they're on their way to go to the brick and mortar stores and the grocery stores. Rise, I really hope they come to Kroger because I go to Kroger every time I go grocery shopping. You're never going to catch me going to Walmart for grocery shopping unless I have to. You're never going to catch me at Publix, overly expensive groceries for the same thing that you can get at Kroger. Sam's Club, I get the concept of Sam's Club and Costco's because you buy in bulk. Again, it's just me. It's just me in my house, so I don't really have to worry about buying things in bulk because I'm just taking care of myself. So I hope Rise comes to Kroger when it comes down to it, guys, when it comes down to mushroom coffee or mud coffee, right? So I buy the Simple Organic. That's the company, the Simple Organic mushroom coffee that you can just pick up from the grocery store. And let me tell you guys something. I'm going to put y'all on game real quick because mushroom coffee, for me, it helps out a lot with my mental health and my focus, right? I'm focusing right now on you guys, right? I'm focused. It helps you with your focus and it helps you with your digestive system. When I was a kid, true story, I like to open the show with stories because y'all like the stories. True story. When I was a kid, I ate a lot, right? You guys know that I'm getting more swollen now, but I used to be a little bit chubbier, right? I used to be constipated a whole heck of a lot when I was a kid. Again, not gross. It's just a medical thing. It's not nothing gross, but it's true. Constipation has happened to me when I was a kid. My digestive wasn't great. My metabolism wasn't burning as fast as it is now. So I would have stomach pains and it hurts to shit, you know? That's what constipation is. You just like that is not coming out. Ever since drinking mushroom coffee, I've been able to go to the bathroom normally, and I've been drinking mushroom coffee for a very, very long time now. So I've been better for a long time now. But I just remember when I was a kid, I wasn't going to the bathroom as well as I should. And now with mushroom coffee, what it does is it just kind of chimes in your intestines, help you digest whatever you eat. And it helps you relieve with ease. No constipation. And I remember when I got put on mushroom coffee some time ago, and I went to the bathroom, and it was like a mountain. And not trying to get gross. If y'all find it gross, it's not gross. I mean, it's normal. Everybody doo-doos, right? It's totally normal. But it came out like a big chocolate mountain. Like, it was like, I was like, wow, all of that was inside of me. Thank God for mushroom coffee because I had no idea. So I started to, go to the bathroom really, really well because when people got the little, and I don't have a dad bod. You guys know what I mean by the dad bod, where it's like you got a little gut there. It's not because you fat. It's because there's a lot of shit in there that you need to relieve, right? So when I was able to, really do that really well, and my health has been better. Of course, working out. And I tell y'all now with working out, I know I talk about working out a lot. I've been more hungry than usual now that because my metabolism is burning. It is burning, y'all. So it allows me to be hungry because I need a lot of proteins now to regain the muscle soreness that I have, right? I'm sore today from yesterday's workout, and I'll get to that in a minute. But Mushroom Coffee, guys, this is not a sponsor, but Simple Organic or Rods, if y'all want to sponsor the podcast, please do. Send us a pack of Mushroom Coffee. But again, get your Mushroom Coffee on, guys. It is very good. It has it's a different taste, and it's not coffee. I do want to preface that to say Mushroom Coffee is not coffee. It is fiber, lion's skin, I think, tea, vitamins mixed in with water. That's what Mushroom Coffee it is. It's not caffeinated, sugary sugar. No, that is not what Mushroom Coffee is. I back then, before Mushroom Coffee, I used to drink chai latte coffee. And it was a lot of sugar, right? And it's never good for you. Mushroom coffee is good for you because it creates that vitamins that you need, the vitamin D and vitamin B12. Not lion skin, it's something with lions that's in this mushroom coffee. It helps with your intestines and your digestive system, and it allows you to stay focused. So get your mushroom coffee on today, guys. Yeah. And there's competition, T, because a lot of people say, a lot of companies, man, I tell you, a lot of companies, it's either mushroom coffee or mud coffee. And all of these companies, because when I went to find a certain type of mushroom coffee on my phone, y'all know what happened, right? All these companies that do mushroom coffee and mud coffee get on your timeline and say, hey, I saw that you were looking for this. We got this. Our company does this. Hey, I'm probably going to get notifications right now because I'm just talking about it, right? Because I know they're listening. But mushroom coffee is really, 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 really good. You guys cannot fathom how good mushroom coffee is. And I mentioned, my workout's been going really well. If you guys saw the latest podcast, I talked about it. If you saw my social media post today, I posted today. I was in the boxing mind space. I was boxing really, really well yesterday, and I was able to go cycling. And let me tell you something. And I did a live too this week. If you guys have an opportunity to go to your local park, not a sponsor from Retrospect, if y'all want to sponsor us too, give us a thumbs up. But my bike comes from Retrospect. It's a great bicycle for exercise. Of course, they make all different kinds of bikes. They got mountain bikes. They've got exercise bikes. They got bikes with motors in it, electric bikes, right? I think if you buy an electric bike, you're kind of defeating the purpose of the workout because you're just letting the motor push you. You're not really getting a sufficient workout in that area. But I was able to go out and go cycling. And I tell you guys that cycling is one of those things that I encourage everybody to do. You can bicycle in your neighborhood for sure, right? Because I live in a neighborhood. Sometimes I've done it there as well. But what I like to do on my off day is I like to pack my car up with my bicycle, my helmet, my water, and my headphones. And I like to go to my local park and go bicycling. I used to go bicycling a whole heck of a lot when I was in the city of Atlanta. When I worked in the city of Atlanta at Georgia State, I used to do the Pond City Market because it was about 10 minutes from the university. Obviously, don't do that no longer because it is a real hassle nowadays because my occupation has changed in that retrospect. But I was able to go to my local park, one of the biggest parks that's in Gwinnett County. I won't name what park because there's plenty of them, but I just don't want people to guess where I live. But I was able to do that, and I tell you, it was such a fantastic time, T. I say to everybody out there, if you have it, when you're listening to music and cycling at a big park, and just be by yourself and really let your mind you kind of decompress a little bit. Because let me tell you, I've been in, and I think I said it in the live where we have a lot of great things that went on this week. Some things that went wrong, a lot of things went right, but like 2 things that went wrong, things that kind of annoyed me this week. And I'm learning to understand my mental health. And a lot of people see it on the gram that, you see a show or you see a segment or me working out, you thinking I'm living the best life. And honestly, I got to say that I think I am right now. I think there's a lot of things that I'm doing now that makes me happy, right? But I'm also in the mindset that I feel like I've got to do more, T, right? If you guys don't know, you should know by now. I'm at the age of 29, right? So next year I'll be 30, and there's a lot more things I want to accomplish at the age of 30. Now, I did have a conversation with my sister. Shout out to sis. She did say this about this because she saw my live, and she was doing a chicken. She did say that I'm doing something right? I'm at the age of 29, no kids, not married. I can't say I'm financially free quite just yet. I like to say financially lax. Like, I don't really have to stress as much of where my food's coming from, where my next bill is going to be paid from, right? I'm at the term now that, hey, if there's a bill due, I'm just going to pay it and let that be it, right? And it's not to say that I'm bragging on people. It's just because there are a lot of people who are struggling right now, right? A lot of people are struggling right now to the case where their things are high and people are really crashing out. Because I've seen it on TikTok as of late. A lot of people on TikTok are crashing out because they're stressed. So I don't have to do that so much. And at the age of 29, I have 2 degrees. You guys know, I've got a bachelor's degree in marketing. And then I got a master's degree for business administration. So I have my MBA with the specialization of project management. So I've got 2 degrees, and I'm working on my 3rd one. I'm working on my doctorate. So doing all this at the age of 29, that's really impressive. And that's what my sister was saying. But for some reason, I just can't help but feel there's just a couple of things I want to accomplish before I hit the age of 40, right? And I'm sure all of it's going to come true. It's just, I'm just in that weird mind space. And the one thing that just helps negate that is riding a bike or going to the park. Seeing what God's greatest creation, right, is the park. The greenery outside, getting some sun. And it's good for me too, because when I've had my episode back in January, I was sick twice in January. They said that my doctor said, hey, you need to go and get some more sun. You're inside so much. That is true because we're inside for our productions and stuff. So I'm learning now to go outside and get some sun when it needs to be done, right? But I was able to ride my bike and, stress-free, riding through, having a great time. I met this one girl. She was very exciting because she was a sweetheart. She pulled up and she has the same car as me. Hers is not electric, but it's the same. It's a BMW. I think she said hers was like the M50. So that's like the same version as mine, but hers is the M50. Mine is the eDrive 40 because mine's electric. So very good. I pulled my bike out of the car and she was asking me, how did I fit my whole bike in my car? Because she was like, I was thinking about getting a bike rack because our cars on the top, they have like the little things at the top where you could put a bike rack. I told her like, no, I just squeeze mine in the car because I think bike racks look so ugly. I really do think bike racks on a nice car look very, very ugly. Some people do it. I've seen some Audis and some Beamers and some Mercedes that have like their bike rack on top of the car where they put their bikes at. That seems like a lot. And it makes the car look ugly with all that junk on it. So that's what I told her. I was like, it just look ugly. So what I would do is, because before my new car, I had a Malibu. And the Malibu, Chevy Malibu, it could fit my bike in there with ease when I would go to Pond City Market. So that's what I told her, hey, my old car, my bike fit in there perfectly fine. You just got to let your back seats down. And you got to like put the back of the bike in first. And it does the job. So that's how I'm going to be doing it from now on, just putting it in the car and riding to the park. I think I'm going to schedule that in for every Wednesday. I did go this past Wednesday. It was a very, very good time. So I think I'm going to squeeze that in for every Wednesday. But I like to say to a lot of people, if you have the opportunity to go out and go cycling, is one of those things that I really, really recommend, because it is great for mental health. It's great for people who are crashing out, you know. And speaking of people who are crashing out, I got to get to it. I got to get to the top story today. Let's get to the top story, y'all.
Some of y'all might know this, and some of y'all don't.
Let's do it.
K.L.P. All the topics, stories, and gossip. It is now time for our top story from K.L.P.
All right, so the top story goes out today. I really feel bad for this American rapper. If you guys know, you know, Lil Nas X. Oh man, he has been hospitalized after found wandering in the Los Angeles streets. Of course, he was in downtown LA, stripped, nothing but his socks and underwear, prancing around the streets, and he, of course, got arrested because that is a sign of. Some people say that is a sign of misconduct because you're practically naked in the public setting. And it's they could book him for disturbing the peace a little bit. But let me tell you something. It's good that he has been hospitalized because something is wrong with Lil Nas X. Something's wrong, right? He's not just doing this just for the fun of it. Something mentally is wrong with Lil Nas X. And let me tell you something. And I say this to a lot of people out there because I ain't going to sit here and say that I'm a celebrity in this podcasting space. No, I'm pretty well known a little, but I'm not a celebrity. Far from it. But I got to say, some of these celebrities that go out and go out with a bang and have the top chart songs and everything is about that celebrity, and he has that pop, he has that notoriety, he has that celebrity status. I always say what glitters ain't gold, right? I think personally what's going on with Lil Nas X is, you know, the celebrity thing, right? Where you come out, right? You come out, you're being true to yourself, right? Because he's in the community. He's a rapper. He had top chart songs. Everybody's buzzing about Lil Nas X. He's getting sponsorship deals. He's on commercials. He's doing award shows. He's everywhere. But it has been a minute since we heard his latest new song, right? It's been a minute. So when it comes down to it's been in a minute, I mean, maybe he's having some issues with his label because they haven't been a hit as of late, right? Because let me tell you something. Artists who have a hit song, you have to continue to figure out what it is you want to do as a follow-up, right? Because we are in, number one, artists, including myself, right? Because our new album just came out, so we're in love. We'll talk about it at the end of the show. Artists sometimes have to stick to a number. You gotta meet a certain number, a certain quota. Especially if you sign to these big labels that gives you an advanced contract. And that's rare nowadays. But if you get a rare contract and a guaranteed money kickback for just signing, you're expected to make a certain amount of money. Or they take all your extra assets if you didn't make that extra set of money. So that could be the case with Lil Nas X. It could be to where my man is crashing out because it's been a while since his latest songs, right? And I hate to say this, but I think this is what I think. I think Lil Nas X is crashing out because now he's kind of getting away from the fame. He's kind of a little bit becoming irrelevant, right? Because in the music industry, we're like a microwave. We want it now, right? The same thing with the video game industry. We want it now. We don't want to wait years and years and years until your next project, right? Case in point, and not trying to compare the two, but case in point, at one point, I kind of felt like Chance the Rapper was getting a little bit irrelevant, but he came back with a new album. I'm going to listen to it, right? It's the numbers game. Now, Chance the Rapper, he's a little different, right? He took time off. He was, raising his family. Fortunately, he got a divorce from his wife, but like he was raising his kids and he was doing his thing. He was being an entrepreneur, right? He had different avenues. So his was a little bit different. Lil Nas X, you often wonder, what's going on, right? He said to himself that life has been difficult before the hospitalization, right? Life's been difficult. Yeah, because, you had this pop, but now you don't have a hit. Like people know Billy Ray Cyrus and his song, Old Country Town Road. Like we know that song, but like no one's listened to that song nowadays because it was instant. It popped. When it first came out, it was the hottest thing. It was the latest trend. But let me tell you something. We move on to another trend and we forget that Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus had a song, right? It sucks in the music industry where you have a hit song and people will listen to it right now, but then they move on to the next new song. That's just our generation. Personally, for me, I like to listen to the classics, whether it's the early 2000s, late 90s, right? Even the 80s, I like to listen a little bit of the 80s because I'm just that type of music lover. Like I like all types of music from all different types of generation. Don't really care too much about this generation because all of them just sounds like to me. But personally for me, I like real artistry. I like old school songs, and people don't make songs like that anymore, right? It's about let's microwave this song out so that way we can get the numbers up, right? Sucks, but that's the industry. So that's what I think is going on with Lil Nas X. I think he's just crashing out because he is and I'm not saying he's irrelevant because he's a good artist, but he's becoming irrelevant to the trending eyes to where he's not making enough money because he's not getting the plays and clicks and stream numbers no more because people still listen to old country road, like I said, but like people are listening to whatever is trending now. Right. So it is very, very unfortunate for Lil Nas X. I really hope he gets all the help he needs. A part of me thinks that maybe, and I hope that he has good people that actually care about him as a human being, right? Because let me tell you something. Whoever your friends are, and I'm talking to you, Lil Nas X, if you're somehow listening to this podcast, you got to make sure that you got good people in your corner. Not because of you being famous, and not because you being, I can't say, I mean, if he invested his money wisely, he's probably could still have some money in the bank, right? He still could have some money in the bank. If he, with the pop charts and top songs and award shows, if you invested your money wisely, you probably could have some money in the bank. I'm not Lil Nas X's banker, so I don't know how much money he has in the bank. But if you don't have any money in the bank, let's just say, I'm not saying he's broke. I just don't know. Let's say if he doesn't have any money, right? Old Town Road ain't really clicking how it used to be back in the day, right? Because, of course you're going to crash out, right? Because no one's talking about, people are talking about you now, but no one's talking about you. Now you're in LA in your tidy whities, walking through the streets of LA, naked, arrested, right? And it sucks because some people like me would say, damn, I really hope he gets the help he needs. But you got to understand, a lot of people say, damn, he really crashed out. He really falling off. He's off the rails, right? So I just hope that Lil Nas X does have good people in his corner that looks over and watch over him as a human being, not as Lil Nas X, but as Montario Lamar Hill, the actual human being, right? Because I've met some celebrities in my day, right? Who did I met? I've seen Al Sharpton, but two celebrities that I've seen personally face to face, The Miz, Mike Mizanin, The Miz wrestler, and also DJ Envy for Breakfast Club, right? Those two guys that I met personally, they're human beings, right? When I met The Miz, him being a celebrity, but when I met him at the hotel, he's standard human being, just like me and you. Of course, we know who he is, but yeah, I met DJ Envy in New York. Human being. He's a radio guy. DJ, I try to study from the DJ and the broadcasters, right? Because I'm learning to be up there and more professionally. But DJ Envy, human being. It doesn't make him, because of the celebrities' names don't make them God, right? There are human beings just like me and you. And I just do believe that Lil Nas X is a human being. I really do believe that. I really hate that for him. I really hate that that this something like this happen. I hope that they give him the help that he needs. I think he needs to have good people in his corner. And once he's mentally cleared, his mental health is cleared, physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially cleared, then it might inspire him to come back into the music industry, right? I want to see Lil Nas X when he's come back, when he is good and ready. I don't want to see him come back when it comes down to forced to come back because his label told him to. When he's physically and mentally ready to come back into this industry, that might inspire him to make an album based on this traumatic experience, right? A lot of artists do that, where they're making music or albums based off a traumatic experience that they had. And that's some of their best work. Instead of spitting out bullshit because the labor told you to, because we need to reach 200 million streams, right, for Billboard. Let's just microwave this thing out so that way we hope it sticks to people and that people can dance on it on TikTok. That's just how I feel. But Lil Nas X, man, I hope you get the help you need. It sucks for him because he's also from Atlanta, and we're here in Atlanta, so it just kind of makes me sad. But I hope he gets the help that he needs for sure. All right, so coming up next, shifting gears a little bit, let's talk a little bit about video games, shall we, T? So Gamescom. I felt bad for not covering Gamescom this much this year. We did last year. It was cool, but we did what we do. We did Summer Game Fest and Gamescom and all the video game conferences. We did like a spinoff podcast called Podcadia. Right? Was it Podcadia? That was last year. Hopefully y'all enjoyed last year. We just couldn't get around to doing another series, Podcadia World Series this year because we've been swamped. I'm sorry, guys. We've been podcasting. Brocal Podcast has been booming. We're filming a movie, by the way. It's called Dear Isaiah. We've been in the studio for a heck of a lot filming that movie. And of course, I just released a music album with Sky Love, right? So we haven't really had time to do it this year, but I did see a little bit of Gamescom. A lot of great games are coming out, right? The spinoff of Black Myth Wukong is coming. I still haven't finished Black Myth Wukong. I think the game is a little bit too hard for me. I just don't like the From Software type games, like the Elden Ring type games. I just don't like them because they're just too hard for me. It's a lot of concentration. I get agitated. I like to play a game and not think. So that game from Game Science, the Black Myth spinoff, really cool to see. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed 20 million times because Black Myth Wukong did get delayed 4 times. So I hope that doesn't have the same curse with the spinoff. I'm probably going to pass on that one because, again, I bought Black Myth Wukong and I've put in some good hours on it. I'm just stuck on this one boss level that I've never could beat, and I just kind of quit. But this other game that I'm very excited about, speculating to come out next year, and I'm big on my Lego games, okay? I know, I get it. I'm 29, but I like the Lego games because they're just so innovative. When I was a kid, I had a whole bunch of Legos, so it's just kind of my childhood. So Lego got this new game. It's called Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. It's an upcoming Lego-themed action adventure developed by Telltale Games and published by Warner Brothers Games. This is an installment of the Lego Batman video game series and features the original story loosely inspired from the films and other medias of the Batman franchise. And let me tell you why I'm buying this game when it comes out. Because there's been speculation that we weren't getting another Rocksteady game, right? We knew we were getting another type of Arkham game next year. We just didn't know what it was. And this is it. So Lego and TT Games, they did this thing where it's Lego Batman, right? I played the first Lego Batman game when it first came out years ago. Lego Batman 2, DZ Superheroes, Lego Batman 3, Beyond Gotham, right? I like the Lego games. But let me tell you why this one's going to sell. Because Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, it is a Lego Batman game, yes. But they're taking inspiration from the Arkham games, right? From all of the Arkham games, from Arkham Origins, Arkham Origins, tongue twister there, T, Arkham City, Origins, Arkham Knight, and of course Arkham Shadows. I'm playing Arkham Shadows right now for VR. Oh, such a good game. So they're taking inspiration from the Arkham games and putting it into this Lego Batman form. And I think that is a fantastic idea. I think that's never been done before. I can't wait to see where the storyline goes. They got a new voice actor because we all know that Kevin McElroy, he passed away. He was the OG Batman voiceover. But I think Arkham Shadow was his last game before he passed. Sadly that he passed, because if he didn't pass, he probably would have voiced this one too. But he's no longer with us, so of course they had to recast. And I think the recast of the new voiceover, it's okay. It will be suitable, right? It's just Kevin McElroy, he gave us a deeper vocal range for Bruce Wayne and Batman in the Arkham games. So we won't really get the darker, deeper voice box from this new voice actor. I get it. I mean, if I was voicing Batman, I would love to voice Batman because I can do a mean Batman impression. Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight. We're going after Joker. You know, I would have done really, really well if I practiced enough. But I won't harp on the new voice actor so much because, again, you have to recast, right? You can't use the same sample of Kevin McElroy when you need some fresh lines said. So I get it. It sucks, but I get it because, I mean, who else can do it? So I look forward to this one. I really like the inspiration of the Arkham games. Again, I played all the Arkham type games. I finished all the Arkham type games except for Arkham Shadows for VR. I'm still playing on that. I was playing Asgard Wrath 2 and I got busy with that. But I really do think this is a very, very good idea from TT Games. For them to be inspired by the Arkham games. The fighting mechanics is just like the Arkham games, just in Lego form. They have a driving segment where you drive around Gotham City like Arkham Knights, but in a Lego form. And then you get to see origins of how the Joker was formed and how everything was formed. I think they're going to put a lot of things into this game where like a different type of costumes and different type of outfits. I don't know if it has been here. Let me click on IGN's website because I'm trying to see. So from IGN, they say they have just 7 playable characters. The only thing I was going to say is hopefully they give us more characters to play around. Not just Batman. Batman's awesome, right? But like I would want to play with more characters than just Batman in this game. I look forward to this one coming out. Again, it's getting scheduled for 2026. It's to be announced in 2026, so we got a little time to wait. And I see it for PlayStation 5. I'm probably going to pick it up for PlayStation 5 because of the graphics. I'm sure Switch is going to look nice. Switch 2, rather, is going to look nice. But I look forward to it. I look forward to this Arkham style Lego Batman game. I think they're going to make a lot of money from this. There has been said that Rocksteady is working on another type Batman game. This wasn't just the Lego game that Warner Brothers is working on. I think they're working on another Rocksteady type Batman game. I think they're sticking to the original roots because we all know that after Arkham Knight, you had Suicide Squad, really wasn't the greatest. And then you had Arkham Shadows. That's kind of like so I'll take that back. No, it was Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights had the potential, but it was just a lot of microtransactions. It was a lot of customizations for me. The campaign mode was a little bit too short. And that game didn't have 60 frames per second. That's why that game failed. Although Suicide Squad looked good, it just wasn't the greatest, right? So they backtracked that with the VR game, Arkham Shadows, and now they're trying to reboot. Rocksteady's trying to redo what they did wrong. I'm glad that they're going back to their roots. I think there's time for them to go back to that route. But like I say, I look forward to it. 2026 is a great time for gamers for 2026, but it's okay because 2025 got some good ones too. Metro Prime Beyond. I can't wait to see when that game comes out because that's going to be a purchase. I might purchase a new video game this coming week. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater comes out on the 28th. I might get that one too because I played all the Snake games, Metal Gear Solid games back in the day when I was a kid. I didn't understand how to play because I was a kid. But now that I'm a full-fledged adult, I think I'm going to have a good time with that one. So a lot of great games coming out. And speaking of what came out, let's get to the elephant in the room, y'all, shall we?
Some of y'all might this, and some of y'all don't.
Let's do it.
It is now time for the elephant in the room. Who's the biggest elephant today?
So the biggest elephant today for the podcast goes out to Cracker Barrel. Y'all remember Cracker Barrel, right? Let me tell you something. Cracker Barrel, that is a restaurant that my parents love to eat at a whole heck of a lot. In particular, my mom, she loves Cracker Barrel. I remember back in the day when Cracker Barrel used to have all the knickknacks and paddywhacks and all the things, the gift shop. They had the little square peg chess game that you could play. And then the food was just scrumptious, right? But here's what's happening. They're taking the cracker out of barrel. Or if you want to say they're taking the barrel out of the cracker. You know, look, it's a joke for TikTok. I mean, I like all kinds. Black, white, orange, blue, purple. I don't gentrify and I don't racially profile on this podcast, but that's just what people have been saying, that they're taking the cracker out of the barrel. Now, as I joke, Cracker Barrel is under a new reconstruction. First of all, that new logo, let me tell you something. And I understand the minimalistic of restaurants nowadays, because let me tell you, I've seen it to where back when I was a kid, y'all remember McDonald's, right? McDonald's with the red roof, with the fries on the side. They look like fries, right? They had the playground in the front, right? And you could do the drive-through, but a lot of kids wanted to walk in to eat at McDonald's and play on the playground when I was a kid. Again, when I was 5 years old, that was my favorite place to do, right? But now you see the McDonald's gray and white, with a little bit of yellow, but gray and white. Even the logo, like you don't even see the M logo in McDonald's that much anymore. You just see a plain text McDonald's. And let me tell you something. McDonald's have made those, they suck the fun out of McDonald's, because let me tell you, we're in this minimalistic world. And I'll get to my business point of why restaurants are changing to this minimalistic world, right? McDonald's, I go to McDonald's not as much, right? The last time I went to McDonald's, it had to been when I was in Chicago and I needed a cheap meal to eat, right? Because when you travel, you don't want to eat like crap, but like you don't want to eat very expensive when you're traveling, because that's how you save money. So I'm like, okay, this is the blandest McDonald's, grayed out McDonald's. And even when I was driving back from Detroit back to Chicago from a bit medical conference, we stopped at a McDonald's. It was just very, very bland. It was snowy there. It was snowy that time. It was cool. I see a lot of those restaurants where it's just a gray and white building, and they're making those restaurants like McDonald's, Zaxby's, Chipotle, Panda Express, like all of the restaurants, they look smaller and smaller and smaller. They're building them smaller and smaller. I passed, there was a combo of Chipotle and Panda Express and Starbucks. Those buildings, the construction looked like it cost them 10 grand to build that only, right? To build all of that, because they're making them smaller. They're sucking the fun out of it. There's not much of a logo, right? Especially with Starbucks. Even back in Chicago, when I went to Chicago, shout out to Chicago. I love Chicago. There's like 15 million Starbucks in Chicago, and there's like 20 million in New York. They're making them smaller and smaller and smaller, putting them in random places because they don't care about the design of the building. They don't care about the design. They care about how minimalistic they can do, so it saves them that money, right? And I do think, and I get it, times have changed, right? The original logo of Cracker Barrel was an older white guy sitting on a barrel, leaning on a barrel. And the racial term for white people is the C word, cracker, right? It's kind of like saying the same thing with a racial slur with black people. That's the N word. I won't say it because it's very, That's kind of like a little bit of the origin story of Cracker Barrel, a little bit. But really, Cracker Barrel it's supposed to feel like grandma's house, right? Grandmas, they have all the knickknacks and all the trinkets and all the paintings and all the gift looking things in their homes, right? my grandma, both my grandmas, God rest their souls, they had trinkets and paintings and pictures and chinaware. I think both my grandmas had a china room where it was like a dining table with fine china and a chest with china inside. No one sits in that room. You're not supposed to sit in that room. That's just there for display. We've sat there on Thanksgiving when we go over for Thanksgiving years ago, but that was a china room. You can't sit in there. And you had both my grandmas had a living room decked out with nice couches, nice trinkets. You're not supposed to sit in there. You're supposed to sit in the den, the family room, right? That's what Cracker Barrel was. Now, I've seen it on TikTok, ladies and gentlemen, that this new form of Cracker Barrel, they have the one that I seen from the one girl on TikTok. She went to Cracker Barrel, one of the new redesigns. It looks like a straight up Zaxby's. Like a lesser version of Zaxby's is what it looks like in there. And they got just very few trinkets on the wall, but not like it used to be in Cracker Barrel back in the day. And that logo, let me tell you something. I'm a graphic designer too, right? And sometimes my graphic designs look amazing. Sometimes they don't look great, right? Our new logo right here, K.L.P Entertainment, looks amazing, right? We redecked our whole setup here. Looks great, right? It just depends on your eye on design. That new logo looked like somebody slapped it on Canva. That's what it looked like. It doesn't look that great. It looks generic. It looks minimalistic. But let me tell y'all why Cracker Barrel is doing this. Let me get a little sip of this mushroom coffee. I'm going to tell y'all why they're doing this. Because I've seen a lot of people, and it's funny because a lot of people don't like the new logo design, don't like the new reconstruction of Cracker Barrel. But I also ask, when's the last time you went to Cracker Barrel? Or are you just saying that because you want something to say on TikTok? Now, I can't say that I hate that new design if I haven't been to Cracker Barrel in a couple of years now. It's been some years since I've been to Cracker Barrel. So I can't hate too much on it because I ain't sat in there in a while. Here's the business perspective of why they're changing things up. Everything comes at a cost. Now, we can blame it on inflation. We can blame it on the economy today. And in today's standard, things are expensive. And I only say that to a lot of people who post their video on TikTok because they don't like the design. You got to understand the business aspect of it all. And here, this is, again, not flexing, but my 2 business degrees, I learned these things. Here's my take on why they're changing up things at Cracker Barrel. And a lot of restaurants, for that matter, being more minimalistic. When McDonald's, Taco Bell, Chipotle, Panda Express. There's more restaurants that are changing, but those are just the ones that I've seen mostly on my way to studio. Hell, even churches. Churches have a redesign. Looks very minimalistic. We've got so consumed of going to the McDonald's, and hell, I forgot to add a good restaurant. Chick-fil-A is doing this too. We don't care no more about nostalgia when it comes to restaurants. The playground, because McDonald's had a playground. I think Wendy's had a playground at one point. And then Chick-fil-A definitely had the Dwarf House. Remember the Dwarf House? That stuff costs money to maintain, to repair, and to clean, right? You got a lot of snotty-nosed kids playing on the playgrounds. You got to sanitize that, right? All of those things cost money, right? If Chick-fil-A had to clean the Dwarf House and sanitize the whole area, and there's like 50 million store locations in the U.S., that's going to cost money. Same thing with McDonald's. McDonald's back in the day had the playground, the playhouse, right? With Ronald McDonald. Sanitation for that times 50 million locations. I'm just guesstimating the locations, but 50 million locations in the U.S., that's going to cost money for the company. A lot of restaurants, a lot of companies are looking at ways because of the economy and inflation. A lot of companies are looking for areas to trim the fat, areas to cut costs, right? You see a lot of people working in these companies and they getting laid off. No, they're cutting costs. It sucks, yeah. People getting laid off sucks, but they got to trim the fat because it's costing them money. Versus Cracker Barrel, same reason. The trinkets, the round peg chess thing that you play at the table, the gift shop. People don't really buy from the gift shop as much anymore anyway, because they have to. I'm pretty sure Cracker Barrel probably had a decent price for some of their things at the gift shop, but then inflation hit, so now they got to increase their pricing, and then they're realizing that people are not buying from the gift shop. Why are we spending $1 million for each restaurant on gift? Or I won't say $1 million. I'm gonna say $400,000 on a gift shop where nobody's buying from it, and we're losing money. We have to sell that as a loss. That's why they got rid of it, because it is expensive. No one's buying Cracker Barrel gift stuff from the gift shop anymore because it's either A, expensive, or B, no one cares. So if I was the CEO of Cracker Barrel, if I own a Cracker Barrel location and there's a gift shop that roughly cost me $400,000, I'm guesstimating, I don't know, I don't work for Cracker Barrel, $400,000 per year to maintain that gift shop with new gifts, new vendors, creating these gifts for us, and we see that it's not making no profit margin, that's not making no revenue, it's not making us any type of money, then yeah, we got to cut it, because now we're spending $400,000 at a loss each year because we're not making no money, no profit from this. I got 2 business degrees, guys. I study these things. That's why they're cutting that out. Right? That trademark logo. Now, I don't know if they're paying, Cracker Barrel's probably not paying a yearly fee for that logo. They probably paid outright for the old logo. But if you're getting rid of that, let's get rid of the logo. Right? And it probably cost them nothing for that new logo, because guess what? We don't care. We're so in tune with restaurants looking so minimalistic. They're still going to go to these restaurants and order food from the restaurant. Same thing with McDonald's, same thing with Chipotle, same thing with Panda Express and Chick-fil-A. We're still going to go to these restaurants and buy food and make sure that they make money. We don't care about what it used to look like back in the 90s, in the 80s. We don't care about that now because we're just in that different time zone now. That's what's happening to Cracker Barrel. And I saw the video of the CEO, and she kind of did like a CEO political speech on how she felt about the new design. It's corporate talk. What I read from that is, we're looking to cut costs. So if we can cut costs in the gift shop and cut costs in the logo and change up some things, it's going to cost us less to do. And let me tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if they start building more Cracker Barrels, right? Because now, guess what? Let's say the gift shop for a Cracker Barrel costs $400,000. I'm just guesstimating, guys. I don't know. I don't work for Cracker Barrel. I'm just guesstimating here. $400,000 for a Cracker Barrel, and you need about $300,000 for the building, right? For the tables, the setup, the building construction, the kitchen. So let's say you're looking at $700,000, right? I'm just guesstimating, guys. I don't work for Cracker Barrel. I'm just guesstimating. It costs, as a guess, $700,000 to build the old school Cracker Barrel, right? So if you build, back in the day, $700,000 for a Cracker Barrel restaurant. Back in the day, it sold because people would go to the gift shop, buy from the gift shop. A lot of people would go to Cracker Barrel for a family dinner, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night dinner. I've been there for a Thanksgiving dinner one time. I've been there for a Christmas dinner one time. Back in the day, it was market. But the way inflation's going, we prefer to go to McDonald's or Chipotle or some other restaurant, less on Cracker Barrel, right? Right? And if I'm sure they're wanting to cut costs. Well, hell, that gift shop cost me $400,000. Let's cut that. So now it only costs, with the new construction, the building, the specs, new constructions, without the gift shop, without the trinkets, without all the crap that's in there, is only going to cost you $300,000. right? That's a big number. Back in the day, I would spend $700,000 for a Cracker Barrel building. But in today's economy, I'm only spending $300,000 to build a new Cracker Barrel building, a new restaurant. So now this allows them to say, hey, okay, so now it costs us way less in today's modern, that new logo Cracker Barrel to be built. Now let's build that same new one for $300,000, but let's add more locations. See how the math is mathing, guys? Y'all see how business is kind of working where it's costing us less to build this building now? So in hopes that the new logo and the new building works out really well, then we can add more locations for the cheap instead of spending the old school Cracker Barrel that costs us way, way, way much more money to build, right? That's why they're changing. Hopefully I made sense here to you. That's why Cracker Barrel changed everything. That's why I'm seeing a very, very small Starbucks that probably cost them $5,000 to make, but they're adding so many locations because it's cheap now to make. Back in the day, it cost a lot more. That's how companies are able to create more locations, create more revenue, and not happen to be at a loss for something. And I just wanted to talk about that as a business guy. I wanted people to understand why they're changing it. I get it. Some parts of it has some political reasons. I won't go there. I don't care about it that much for that reason, for the political reason. I saw it mainly from a businessman's perspective, and I get why they're doing it. They have to cut their losses. A lot of companies are cutting losses. They're cutting they're cutting the fat. They're cutting costs on a lot of things because it's expensive, right? You can also agree that she's been told by the board members, right? Because board members and shareholders, they invest a lot of money, and if they're spending money on wasteful spending, board members don't like that. They want to make as much money in their pockets as they can because of corporate greed. That's common sense. That's been going on for years. But it's a cost cutting thing, is what I see. It's not I don't see it as a millennial political thing where they're scared. It could be because Target CEO stepped down because of DEI, diversity and inclusion, right? And they're losing revenue. So it could be to where they don't want to cater to that anymore. It could be. But I also see it from a business perspective that, like, hey, this is expensive to maintain, so we got to cut it. So I just want people to see it. Agree, disagree, but this is how I see it. Like I say, Cracker Barrel's new logo looks like it was made on Canva. I barely go to Cracker Barrel, so I can't really say that I hate it because I just don't really go there as much. So that's their business. They do them. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're starting to add more locations because now it's cheaper. That's just common sense, common business sense, really. So that's going to wrap it up here on our podcast here. Friday Night Lights. Production is tonight. We're going to East Forsyth High School Stadium tonight for production. So busy day for sure, guys. Go check out our latest new album, So We're in Love. Me and Sky Love. Let me tell y'all something about that album. I love it. It's awesome. And by the way, check out, we uploaded this morning, Eden Prime Horizons episode 6 is now available on Oasis Originals at Spotify for video. All you have to do is open up your Spotify, whether you have a premium plan or a student plan or a free plan. Type in Oasis Originals by K.L.P. Entertainment. You can watch all of the series from Influencer City down to this show, Eden Prime Horizons. Episode 6 is now available. We got 2 more episodes after today to end up our season 1, and coming very soon, our new season, new series, Teasing Hearts is coming out. I can't wait for y'all to see that one. That one's going to be exciting to watch from Sienna Crosswell and myself here at K.L.P. Entertainment and Kennedy Lucas Films, along with Konzo Interactive. So check out our TV shows today. We're doing something, T. And we'll see you guys on Monday with a new episode of Bro Co Podcast on Monday. Until then, I say have a great weekend, everybody. Stay swanky, stay safe. Peace.
Go, what's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P. Entertainment and K.L.P. Studios. It's K.L.P. Aftermath with your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform.
Go.